All right, ladies and gentlemen, I see a couple of people have their hands up, but if you'll hold on, I may be able to clear up any questions that you might have. If I don't, then when I call your name, we'll go ahead and answer any questions that you still have. So I'm Judge Tammy Long Hayward, and this is the arraignment calendar. That means this is probably the first time that your case has been before the trial court, and this is where your case will be resolved either through a plea, a trial, or through some administrative action. Um, Everyone's entitled to have an attorney represent you. If you do not have an attorney, but you need one, we can appoint one for you. I expect to hear one of three types of pleas here: a guilty, not guilty, or no contest. A not guilty plea means that you wish to have a trial by jury or judge. That trial will take place at a later date, and you'll have plenty of time to prepare for the trial. If you wish to go to trial, please be mindful that there are rules of evidence and procedure, and this court cannot treat you any differently than I would anyone who had gone to law school and who knows the rules of evidence and procedure. So please be mindful that if you want to represent yourself at trial, especially a jury trial, you may have difficulty, significant difficulty getting your information before on the record of the court and before the judge because you don't know those rules of evidence and procedure. And it's not as simple as it looks on TV. So please be mindful of that when you make your choice. Now, the state has the burden of proving the case against you beyond a reasonable doubt. So you really don't have to do anything at trial. You do need to show up, but after that, you are not required to produce any evidence or testimony at all because you have a Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination, and nobody can force you to enter any evidence or testimony. But if you choose to, you and your attorney can challenge any arguments made by the state. You can enter testimony and evidence on your behalf, but you're, like I said, you are not required to. If you were convicted at trial, the maximum penalty could be up to 12 months in jail, a $5,000 fine, or both per offense. If you believe that your conviction was a mistake, you could appeal it to an appellate court within 30 days of the court's verdict, and an appellate court might make a different decision. Now, those are the rights that come with having a trial. If you wish to enter a plea of guilty, that means you believe you're guilty of the underlying offense. Even if you disagree with all of the facts as stated by the state, you do believe you're guilty of the offense and you want to resolve your case. If you enter a plea of nolo, it means that you understand the state has evidence that they could use against you at trial. That evidence could result in a conviction. You do not wish to contest that evidence, but you also do not wish to enter a plea of guilty or admit guilt to the offense. A NOLO plea has some benefits for you. A NOLO plea, particularly in traffic offenses, could help you avoid points on your license. It could help you avoid a suspension of your license. Now, let me tell you, first, you have to be NOLO eligible. You cannot have used that NOLO plea previously for a for the same or similar offense within the last 5 years. You also, please be mindful that a NOLO plea may not work the same for you if you are under the age of 21 and a driver, or if you have a CDL. If you're under 21, you only need 6 points to suspend your license, and your suspension is going to be longer than if you were 21 or over. You'll have a 6-month hard suspension, and by that I mean that you will not get a temporary permit for school or work. Your license will be suspended. If you have a CDL, your commercial driver's license, be mindful of anything you do in court with respect to a plea or trial, because we cannot tell you what might happen to your CDL with a conviction or a NOLO or guilty plea. The CDL law is so complicated that, first of all, we can't advise you anyway, but we don't even get into the weeds of that. If you wish to find out what might have to happen to your commercial driver's license, you can sign up not guilty. And while you're preparing for trial, you can also do the research about how to, how this might affect your CDL and thus your livelihood. And once you come to trial, if you wish to go to trial, that's fine. If you wish to enter a plea, that's fine. But at least you will know the information, because if you enter a plea here and it's the wrong one or you don't understand the consequences, it is harder to undo what we do today than it is to just do it right the first time. So take that time if you need it, if you have a CDL. All right, so those are the my instructions with respect to arraignment. I'm going to call your calendar. Some of you already have attorneys, and if you do, I need to know that you are here so that you do not get a bench warrant. But once I've verified that you're here, if you have an attorney, your attorney will speak on your behalf. If you don't have an attorney, I'm going to talk to you about whether you wish to have an attorney appointed to you or whether you wish to go forward on your own. If you're asking to represent yourself, I'm going to verify that you're over 21, and then you can get the recommendation for the sentence from the state. And if you need to talk to the state about it, that's fine. But please understand that you'll be representing yourself and you won't have the benefit of the advice of an attorney. All right, the state does not represent you. All right, first case on the calendar is Latoya Denise Buckley, and she is represented by Mr. Holton Dennis. Is she in the courtroom?
Judge, she's not in the courtroom.
Latoya Denise Buckley.
We did make efforts.
Okay, last call from, go ahead.
The state will move for a bench warrant bond forfeiture, Your Honor.
Bench warrant bond forfeiture will be granted.
Thank you.
All right, Carrie Serrani.
Here.
All right, Mr. Serrani, I see that you do not have an attorney listed. Do you wish to have an attorney represent you, or do you wish to represent yourself?
I am represented by Mr. Holton Dennis.
Okay. All right. So it's not on my calendar, but you all, if you need an appointment order, if I haven't already signed one, then Ms. Serrani will be speaking with you. Do you all need to have a breakout room with her?
Yes, Judge. Well, we would probably prefer if she could chat her phone number and email address to Court 304, and that way I can step out in the hall and call her. We don't have to. All
right. So, Ms. Serrani, do you know how to use the chat function?
Yes, I do.
Okay. First of all, am I pronouncing your name properly?
Yes, you are, ma'am.
Okay, I hate messing up people's names. All right, so if you go to the blue box and click on everyone, go down, scroll down to courtroom 304, send them directly your name and email, your phone number and email address, and they're gonna call you. And so they'll be able to speak with you. I just ask that you keep your device muted until we are able to deal with your case. That way we won't hear what you all are discussing.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Shamia Danielle Dillard. Shamia Danielle Dillard.
Here. The state is going to no-process this case.
All right. Case will be no process. Is Ms. Dillard on?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So Ms. Dillard, hopefully you've gotten everything in order. The state is going to no process your case. You're free to go at this time. Just keep your documents in good order because those are important for driving. All right. Be safe, ma'am. Nicholas Dillon, Ricardo Mosby is the attorney.
Good afternoon, Judge. How are you?
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing well. Mr. Dillon is actually here as well. He's in the courtroom, and there's a co-defendant that's on. Obviously, we believe it can be resolved, but at this point, we can enter a not guilty plea.
Well, the state's going to no-process this case, Your Honor.
Oh. Look, Mr. Mosby.
I'm having a good day, right?
Hey, a win is a win. Thank you, Ms. Hagler.
You're welcome.
All right. Gregory Rasheem Dumas.
Thank you, Judge. Excuse?
Yes, sir. You're free to go at this time. Thank you. Dumas.
The state will move for a bench warrant bound forfeiture.
Right.
I'm sorry, bench warrant.
Were you all able to speak with Mr. Dumas?
No, Your Honor, we do not have a good phone number.
Okay. bench warrant for Mr. Dumas. Hopefully we can find out what's going on with him. LaMarvin Allen Harris, he looks like he was upstairs and came down.
He's on Zoom. He sent a message in the chat saying that he was here. I believe he's on Zoom.
LaMarvin Harris. I'm sorry, I'm looking for you, sir. If you're under
His
somebody
name.
else's phone. Oh, there you are. LaMarvin
see.
Harris.
He's to turn his camera on, Judge.
Am I on?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Good morning,
Oh.
Your Honor.
Good morning. So, Lister Holton Dennis, if y'all don't already have him, I can appoint. Looks like he was upstairs and was appointed upstairs.
Yes, Judge, we would need an appointment order and we would ask.
Okay, so Mr. Harris, it looks like you had an attorney upstairs. Your case is now in state court. You'll have an attorney here. Lister Holton Dennis is going to speak with you. The best way for them to talk to you about your case is if you use the chat function. Do you know how to do that?
Chat function. Hold on, let me try to find it.
Okay, so if you can't find it, you're going to look for a couple of things. If you touch the screen, especially next to where your picture appears, you might see a blue box with 3 white dots. And if you click on that, the chat function might be under that. It might be separate, or it might be under a box that says more.
Okay, I found it. And
Okay.
who
Here's what you do.
I'm sorry.
So click on the blue name
Okay.
and you'll see a list. Go down the list to courtroom 304. Select courtroom 304.
Courtroom 304.
And then click on that. And when the box opens, put your name, your phone number, and your email address in there and send it.
Okay.
And then they'll call you so that they can determine what's going on with your case, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, we'll be right back with you. Just to mute your device while we're waiting. Okay, next is Demosian Martin Bush.
I'm here.
Mr. Martin Bush, you're represented by, well, you had an attorney upstairs. You have 2 cases, and I can appoint the law firm of Lister Holton Dennis to assist you down here. Do you all need an appointment order?
Chat. Click on the blue box for chat.
I'm sorry, hold on. Go ahead now.
Judge, yes, we'll need to submit appointment orders for all cases that get transferred down from Superior Court.
All right, Mr. Martin Bush. You know how to use the chat function, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so what I'm going to ask you to do is chat your email and your phone number to Mr. Lynch in courtroom 304. So you're looking for courtroom 304. When you click on the name in blue, go scroll down to 304. Then send them your phone number and your email address, and they're going to call you and talk about your case and see if we can't resolve something today or move you forward, okay?
Okay, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, just mute your device while you're waiting.
Okay.
Next is Larry Martius Mitchell. Larry Mitchell.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Mitchell, you're before the court. You're represented by Lister Holton Dennis. Have you all had the opportunity to speak with Mr. Mitchell?
Your Honor, if I may, case is actually being transferred to Superior Court. The defendant has 3 prior convictions for battery family violence.
All right. Mr. Mitchell, that case is going to be transferred. Once it gets to Superior Court, then the Superior Court will appoint an attorney to assist you because you had an appointment down here, but you make sure you ask for that when your case gets upstairs. Also, sir, please be mindful that you have bond conditions, and those bond conditions require that you not have any contact with the individual listed on your bond conditions. That also you may not be able to go to a particular location. And I remind you of that because there's serious consequences if you violate your bond conditions. You can have your bond revoked and you could be in jail until your case is resolved. You could also be charged with misdemeanors or felonies. The felony of aggravated stalking is punishable by 10 years in prison, a $10,000 fine, or both. Even if the person on your bond condition contacts you, you are not to respond, but please share that information with your attorney. Also, if you don't have a copy of your bond conditions, you can come down to 9151 Terra Boulevard at the Justice Center. Go to the first floor to the state court clerk's office and ask for a copy of your bond, okay? Do you understand all of that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so you're free to go at this time and you'll receive a notice about your arraignment for the Superior Court.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. David Michael Murphy.
He's in the courtroom, but he has an attorney. I believe Mr. Matt Tucker represents this individual. Come forward, sir.
Is Mr. Tucker here or his associate?
Yeah, medical leave. He's not here at the moment. He's on medical leave. I'm sorry.
Okay, so Mr. Murphy, I know he was working with an assistant for a while, but as long as you're fine with the medical leave, I mean, with your case taking whatever time it takes, and he's on medical leave, then we'll just put it out until he comes back, okay?
Fine.
All right, so you understand that it might not get resolved quickly without him because we can't go forward until we have your attorney.
Okay.
All right, okay, so just be mindful. We're gonna tell when you talk to Mr. Tucker's office, just make sure that they do a entry of appearance because we don't have him listed as your attorney. And it's just as simple as sending in a piece of paper, okay?
Okay, got it.
All right, thank you, Mr. Murphy.
All right, thank you.
Judge, I did get his entry in hard copy this morning.
Oh, okay. Never mind, Mr. Murphy. We got his entry. You're good. You're
But
free to go.
his sick leave only went through the 6th. His medical leave.
Yeah, he's had some ongoing issues. I won't dig him for that. Let's put it over to the next one and let's get in touch. Thank you though. Hope it's okay. Pereira, Aquija Saul Pereira. This is Mr. Florio's case.
Judge, I saw Florio in the building, but I don't know. He's got a lot of cases, so.
Yeah. Okay. Is Mr.
He filed a waiver and not guilty plea on yesterday.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next is Quaterial Treyas Pinkins.
Yes, I'm here.
Judge, do we have contact?
Yes. Yes.
Judge, we'll just need to, I guess, have a conference with her if we already have her number, so we can just call her and verify what she's going to do today.
All right. All right, so ma'am, just hold on, mute your device until they're ready to speak with you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, Samara Renee Thomas. Samara Renee Thomas.
She's present, Judge.
Okay.
It's on a non-process case.
All right, Thomas's case will be no pros. You're free to go at this time, Ms. Thomas. Please be mindful. You know how this all started, so please be mindful of any interactions that you have, okay? All right, you're free to go. Thank you. All right, Jeffrey Vasquez.
Judge, Mr. Vasquez is present in the courtroom. He does need a Spanish interpreter. He has somebody with him, but we need an official interpreter.
Okay, no problem. Ms. Val, if we can
Yes,
get
ma'am.
it. Okay, thank you.
Hang tight. We're going to get an interpreter for you, and then we'll talk to you a little bit more, okay?
Erin Lynn Whiter.
Judge, she is
Here.
on the call. I did speak with her, and I believe we're going to resolve, but I do need to confirm that with her and make sure that she understands everything. If I misspoke about that, Ms. Whiter, I apologize, but we will just need to have a quick conversation, but I think we may have a resolution today.
All right. And Jeffrey Allen Williams, Byron Morgan.
The state will move for a bench warrant, Your Honor.
Has anybody heard from Mr. Morgan, Jeffrey Allen Williams?
What is it?
Is Mr. Williams present?
I don't believe so, but I would expect Mr. Morgan to have filed a waiver.
Yeah. Do we have a waiver?
And we saw Mr. Morgan in the hallway of the courthouse Tuesday. And he told me he was dropping off some documents with SG's office. He didn't say what case that was regarding, but that would appear to be.
I don't have a waiver in my office.
All right.
That's all I know about those that we ran into him as we were.
Your Honor,
Yes.
he normally drops off copies to us instead of the clerk's office. I'm gonna go check our mail too, just to see if he did that.
Thank you, Miss Arnold. I don't know why he's special and he can't just put it where everybody can access it, but let's see. Thank you for that. Winfrey, Marquez DeAndre Winfrey.
Judge, he's online.
Yes, I know.
I did speak with him. I think I'll just need a brief conversation. I need to refresh my memory as to how we were going to proceed here.
Okay, so let me go down the list. Buckley was a benchmark bond forfeiture. Serrani is going to be speaking with Lister Holt Dennis. Dillard and Dillian were both no pros. Dumas is a bench warrant. Harris is an appointment. Martin Bush is an appointment. Mitchell is going to be transferred. Murphy is a medical leave for Mr. Tucker. We'll follow up on that. Pereira is not guilty with a waiver. That's Mr. Florio. Pinkins is waiting to speak with Lister Holt Dennis. Thomas is a no pros. Vasquez is Lister Holt Dennis, but we're waiting on an interpreter. Whiter, Williams, and Winfrey all waiting to speak with Lister Holt Dennis. Oh, I'm sorry. Williams is Byron Morgan. We can't figure out what happened with that, but Miss Arnold is checking. All right, so I'm gonna take a break while you all speak. And as you have announcements, just let me know. I'll be right here.
Judge, before you go, could I just ask, we would just request from the solicitor for the cases that I could be wrong, but I don't believe they sent over documents for the cases that were transferred down from Superior Court. So we just request that from the state. But then there's no one else in the courtroom. I was going to see if I could maybe get a breakout room with Miss Wider, just to get things going.
Okay, I'll go ahead and do the breakout room with Miss Wider, and let me know if y'all need anything else. Miss Wider, I'm gonna put you in breakout room number 1 with the courtroom. 1 second.
Just a little bit.
All right, and I'll be back. Ladies and gentlemen, just be patient. Keep your devices muted until such time as we're back to handle your case, okay? And I'll be back for announcements.
Thank you, Judge. And Attorney Lynch, I'm going to send someone down with the documents.
Ms. Hagler, I think we have we should be able to get we're gonna get a deal for a resolution for Ms. Whiter, but I'm gonna chat you just a very minor request, if you don't mind, for you to consider.
The documents are on their way down to you, Attorney Lynch.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So.
Let me go back to her file. Give me 1 second. Okay, I just responded back to you.
Okay.
Yeah, she can send you a screenshot and you can just forward it to that. I can double check.
Okay.
Yeah.
No problem. All right, Ms. White, I'm about to chat you something. Why doesn't? Wait. I'm gonna just have Ms. Whiter send it to that number.
That's fine. I'll be on the lookout for it.
Hey, we could skip this thing. I get it. You don't make the rules.
So when we get appointed in court, you're not on the phone.
Or, I mean, in some cases, I can run down there, check one out. All right.
Okay, Attorney Lynch, I just got her license. Let me double check it right quick.
figure out. Figure out someone hot food. We got,
Okay, we can do. For her case, we could do that.
wait. I'm sorry, I'm just confused because what I was looking at was.
You said wider, right?
Oh, okay. You're right. I apologize.
Mm.
You're right. Let's say for merge and 3. Yep, that's what I meant. Absolutely. So
Okay.
we're ready.
Yeah.
I forgot that it was a per se. Your Honor, we are ready to go forward with the plea for Ms. Wider, if you want to go ahead and take that.
You ready for a plea?
Yes, Judge. Aaron Wider.
Ms. Wider, may I see you, please? Oh, there you are. Raise your right hand for me.
And Ms. Wider, please unmute your microphone as well.
I apologize.
You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes.
All right, you can put your hand down. You're before the court on 2021 CR 08575 for DUI. Count 1, DUI less safe. Count 2, not license not on person. Count 3, and impeding traffic. Count 4. What does your client plead to the offenses before the court, Mr. Lynch?
Judge, he's pleading guilty to DUI. Count 1, I believe, is DUI per se. DUI less safe would merge. Counts 3 and 4 would be null pros pursuant to negotiations.
All right, by entering a plea of guilty to count 1, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things, ma'am?
Yes, I do.
Factual basis and recommendation, please.
Yes, Your Honor. Pursuant to the probable cause affidavit in the packet, on or about June 14th of 2021, while the defendant was traveling on Lunsford Drive at Anvil Block Road, Clayton County, Georgia, Officer L. Covington noticed that the defendant's vehicle was parked in the middle of the roadway, impeding the flow of traffic. Upon initial contact with the defendant, she was observed sleeping inside the vehicle in the driver's seat with the vehicle engine running. After successfully waking the defendant up, Officer Covington immediately observed a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage on the defendant's breath. Officer Covington also observed that the defendant's eyes were glossy. The defendant did admit to leaving a bar lounge called Pseudos and consuming 2 cups of alcoholic beverages, mixed drinks, specifically Hennessy, Grand Marnier, and pineapple juice. The defendant further advised that she took her last drink at approximately 2300 hours. The defendant was asked to participate in standardized field sobriety evaluations, in which she did refuse. The defendant's BAC was 0.180. Your Honor, the state's recommendation for count 1 is 12 months to serve, 24 hours, balance probated, 40 hours of community service, a fine of $300, The defendant is to complete the substance abuse evaluation and follow all recommendations and treatment, to have no drugs or alcohol, to submit to random alcohol and drug testings and screens, and to complete the DUI alcohol risk reduction program. Count 2 is going to merge, and count 3 and 4, the state is going to not cross.
Anything on behalf of Ms. Wider, Mr. Lynch?
Judge, I would just point out that Ms. Wider has had no violations since this. Ms. Wider's taken responsibility. Ms. Wider was cooperative. Ms. Wider understands the conditions of her probation, and she's going to comply with those based on my conversation with her. I believe she will be successful on probation, and we would ask that the court accept the negotiated resolution and sentence her accordingly. And she does have credit for time served for the 24 hours. Just want to make sure that.
Yes.
All right. So Ms. Wider, I know that Mr. Lynch has explained to you how serious this is and how young people have so many options other than drinking and driving, because you put your life and other people's lives in danger. I'm going to accept your plea to count 1 of guilty. Count 2 will merge. Counts 3 and 4 will be no cross. I'll send you to 12 months to serve 24 hours credit for time served. Balance will be probated for you to do 40 hours of community service, a fine in the amount of $300, which is going to be enhanced. It might be a little over $500 because of the DUI surcharges, substance abuse evaluation, and any treatment that might be ordered. You're to have no alcohol or illicit drugs during the course of your probation. You'll be screened for randomly for alcohol and drugs, and you're to take a risk reduction course. So I'm going to put you in a breakout room with Ms. James, who is our probation intake expert, and she's going to explain everything you need to know about probation and get you set up. The quickest way to get rearrested and to mess up on probation is to not report for probation. So if you have any issues, let your probation officers know, but just don't fail to report. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to put you in the breakout room with Ms. James, and once you're finished speaking with her, you do not have to come back to the main room.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
All right.
Judge. Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Didn't mean to
No, go
interrupt.
ahead.
I was going to request that I be placed in a breakout room with Mr. Winfrey.
Okay. Mr. Winfrey, I'm going to put you in the courtroom in a breakout room.
Okay.
Attorney Lynch, I just sent you a chat in courtroom 304. If you have that case.
Oh, yes, that sounds like a good plan. I think we're probably be on board with that.
Okay, well, just let me know.
All right, Mr. Winfrey, you're in breakout room number 1 with the courtroom, and I'll be here when you guys get back.
All right. You there?
Mr. Winfrey, if you touch your screen, you should have gotten an invitation to the breakout room.
It put me in there and then it took me out. I don't know how.
Let me try. Well, it says you're in there.
Is
Looks
it?
like you have 2. Okay. Look, do you have 2 things open?
Let me see. Okay, hold on. It says jump.
See your note, Attorney Lynch, I'm about to respond. Your Honor, I have an announcement whenever you're ready.
What's your announcement?
Yes, Your Honor, page 5, Mr. Winfrey, the state is going to not process case.
All right, Mr. Winfrey, your case will be no cross. You're free to go at this time. Please be safe.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And Judge, we do have an announcement. Mr. Taylor's going to handle, there's going to be, Mr. Vasquez is going to enter a plea with the assistance of the interpreter. And then when he's done with that, I'm going to ask to be put in the breakout room with Mr. Bush.
All right, bring back at Vasquez up. Hi, Ms. Bermudez.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Raise your right hand for me, Mr. Vasquez. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
Yes.
All right, you're before the court on 2021 CR 08558. Jeffrey Vasquez, you're represented by the law firm of Lisser, Holt, and Dennis. You can put your hand down, sir. Mr. Lynch, what is your client plea for the offense before the court?
Your Honor,
Mr. Taylor.
yes, Your Honor. My client pleads guilty to the 2 charges. Count 1, no license. Count 2, improper lane change.
All right, by entering a plea of guilty to counts 1 and 2, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things, Mr. Vasquez?
Yes.
All right. The factual basis and recommendation, please, interpreter speed.
Yes, ma'am. On or about July 5th of 2021, Officer Ulysses, U-L-I-S as in Sam, E-S, last name Angeles, A-N-G as in girl, E-L-E-S as in Sam, was dispatched to I-675 South and Forest Parkway Southeast, Ellenwood, Georgia, 30294, Clayton County, in reference to a vehicle accident call. Upon Officer Angeles' arrival, he made contact with the defendant and the other driver. During his investigation, Officer Angeles asked the defendant for his driver's license. And the defendant stated that he did not have a driver's license at all. Officer Angeles checked on GCIC for the defendant's records, and he did not find a driver's on file for the defendant. At that time, the defendant was placed under arrest. Your Honor, for count one, the state's recommendation is a fine of $500. And for count two, a fine of $85.
All right.
Your Honor, may I speak?
Yes.
For one moment, please?
Okay. Speak up, Mr. Taylor.
Speak with my client for one moment, please.
Yes. Also, your client has a cash bond. You want to remind him of that also.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. One slight change. We still wish to enter guilty to the no license charge. However, we wish to enter nolo contendere to the improper lane change charge.
Does the state have an objection to the NOLO to the second charge?
The state does not, Your Honor.
All right, the court will accept the NOLO on count two. Sir, I'll sentence you to pay a fine in the amount of $500, $737.50 with the surcharges on count one. On count two is an $85 charge, which I think comes to 100 and I think 20 something dollars. I can't remember because I don't have that on my schedule. But it'll be close to that. Do you need more than 60 days to pay? That will give you time to get your cash bond if you wish to apply it.
Your Honor, 60 days will be sufficient, and I've informed him through the interpreter how to obtain his cash bond back after his sentence has been completed.
All right. All right. So, Mr. Vasquez, I'm going to sentence you to pay the $500, the $85. They'll run concurrent, and you'll have 60 days in which to pay. All right. Okay. You're going to go down to the second floor, right below where we are. When you come through the first set of double doors into the hallway, go to your left. Walk down to the traffic court window, and they'll give you your paperwork that tells you the date by which you need to pay. Any questions?
No.
All right. Thank you, sir. Be safe. All right. We are still waiting for announcements on Serrani, Harris, Martin Bush, and Pinkins.
Judge,
Yes.
would you, if you don't mind, if you could place the Mr. Martin Bush in a breakout room with the court?
Okay.
And I may have an announcement for that one shortly.
All right. Mr. Martin Bush is going into breakout room number 1 with the courtroom.
Okay, thank you.
All right. You.
Your Honor, if I may, I have some follow-up information for you regarding the calendar.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, pertaining to page 5, position, the second position, Mr. Williams, Ms. Honor did do some research. We do not have any documentation in our office from Mr. Morgan. So the state is just still requesting that bench warrant for Mr. Williams.
All right, bench warrant bond forfeiture.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Judge, I do have an announcement. Ms. Hagler, yes, Mr. Bush does want to.
Hold on just one second. All right, I'm sorry, Mr. Lynch, you had an announcement.
Yes, Judge, for Mr. Martin Bush, we do have a negotiated plea that involves him pleading to the 2022 CR 06143 speeding and a null pros of the 2021 CR 08521.
All right, Mr. Martin Bush, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes.
All right, you can put your hand down, sir. You're before the court on state of Georgia versus Demosian Martin Bush 2021 CR 08521 for you said for both cases you're taking pleas, Mr.
Well, they'll both be resolved, but he's only pleading to the 2022 CR 06143.
All right, the other one's going to be a not guilty.
The other one is going to be null pros pursuant to the negotiations.
All right. All right. So case 2021 CR 08521 will be null pros. That's the terroristic threats. On case 2022 CR 06143, Mr. Martin Bush is entering a plea. What's the plea?
It's a no contest plea, Judge. We do believe he's eligible.
All right. Final plea of nolo, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself. And if you are not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, factual basis and recommendation, please.
Yes, Your Honor. On or about June 18th of 2022, Officer Jonathan Carey did issue the defendant a traffic citation for speeding. The defendant was traveling on North I-75 Expressway and Mount Zion Boulevard, Clayton County. Officer Carey used his LiDAR and clocked the defendant going 102 miles per hour in a 65 mile per hour zone. Your Honor, at this time, the state's recommendation is a fine of $500, 12 months probation, and the defendant is to complete the defensive driving course, and the probation can terminate upon completion of the conditions.
All right. So, Mr. Martin Bush, the defensive driving course, the driver improvement course is what they're calling it now. You can find that on the website for the Georgia Department of Driver Services. That's the one we want you to take because that's the one that gives us the form that we will accept. So don't Google it. Okay. Just go directly to the Georgia Department of Driver Services. Their website will have a pull down menu for the department for driver improvement courses, and choose the one most convenient to you and take that. And when you bring in the paperwork, so you'll also pay a fine in the amount of $500. It'll be $737.50. You'll be on probation, but upon completion of and showing proof of the driver improvement course and payment of the fines and fees, then your probation can terminate. And Mr. Martin Bush, I'm gonna ask you just to make sure that you slow down, sir. Everybody thinks they can drive like NASCAR, but most people are not so trained. And the thing that you don't take into account is when somebody sees somebody driving really, really fast or like weaving in and out of cars, I do it myself. If you look in your rearview mirror and you see a car coming like that, you freeze. So you don't know whether to go right or left. And so when you panic like that, they could move into your lane thinking they're getting out of your way, and that could be a major collision. You can only drive for yourself. You can't anticipate what somebody else is going to do, especially at major speeds. And so I ask that you just slow down, sir. I was young once too. And now that you know what your car can do and you've had that experience, now it's time to be responsible, okay?
Yes, Your Honor, and I thank you for your words of wisdom.
Well, I just want y'all here. I'm trying to keep folk here and not have people, have these collisions and stuff that take them out of here. I want you here. And so because of that, I try and, make sure that, like I said, I was young once, but see, when you open up a car on the highway, I grew up went to high school in South Dakota, when there's no traffic, that's a different thing than when you're in Atlanta metro traffic. Two different things, okay? So, yes. All All right, so I'm gonna put you in a breakout room with Miss James. Miss James is gonna do your probation intake. Ask her any questions that are, pertinent to your situation, your working situation, anything. And then as soon as you pay the fines and fees and bring in your probation, your completion form to probation, then you'll be off probation. But I'm gonna go ahead and put you in the breakout room for Miss James. You do not have to come back to the main room once you are finished speaking with her, okay?
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, so Ms. James and Mr. Martin Bush are in breakout room number 6. Okay, did you have another announcement, Mr. Lynch?
Judge, I don't, but I would request that I get placed in a breakout room with, I believe, Miss.
We got Sarani, Harris, and Pinkins left.
Okay, let me start with Pinkins and then we'll
I thought
see.
Pinkins was in the courtroom. Is Pinkins on the?
On,
Oh, no, I see the Pinkins. Okay, we're gonna start with Pinkins. I'm gonna put Pinkins in breakout room number 1 with the courtroom. All right, Ms. Pinkins, once you see the invitation, go on into the courtroom, the breakout room. All right, we'll be back in a moment.
You don't have a conflict on surrounding. Yes. What about Harris? Yes. Judge, I do have an announcement for Ms. Pinkett.
What's your announcement, Mr. Lynch?
Judge, Ms. Pinkins has told me in no uncertain terms that she does not want the law firm of Lister and Holt to be representing her. We are certainly.
Okay, Ms. Pinkins? Where is she?
She should, is she still in the breakout room possibly? I probably should have explained that part better to her. That was my fault. I thought that.
Ms. Pinkins?
You want me to
Ms.
go back in the breakout room?
No, she's out. Ms. Pinkins?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, may I see you, please? All right, so Ms. Pinkins, is my understanding you do not want Lister, Holt, and Dennis to represent you. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
All right, so you've been charged with driving on a suspended or revoked license, no insurance, no tag or expired or invalid tag, and traffic control violation. Counts 1, 2, and 3 are all statutory offenses. So if you're convicted of those offenses, the statute already determines what the fines and fees will be. For a first time on a driving on a suspended or revoked license or no license, I believe it is $500, $737.50 with the surcharges. Any subsequent one will go to $1,000 base fine. A third one in 5 years will be $1,500, and a fourth one in 5 years will be a felony. No insurance, I believe, is $200. With the surcharges would be $298. And the other 2 offenses would be charged as agreed. So, ma'am, are you planning to get your own attorney, or do you wish to represent yourself?
Yes, ma'am. I'm getting an attorney.
All right. Now, Ms. Pinkins, let's just be honest with ourselves. So you were eligible for indigent defense. If it's going to take you 1,000 years to get up the money to get an attorney, you're not going to have 1,000 years of time to do it.
Okay.
I'll give you one reset, and you need to be working on getting an attorney now so he can work on getting information for you.
I'm working on getting my attorney now.
All right. So I'll continue your case for you to hire your own attorney. You need to work on that as quickly as possible. You will not be assured of another continuance, and your attorney needs to be able to have time to put in their information so they can receive the discovery from the state. Okay.
Okay.
So don't put your attorney at a disadvantage trying to hire somebody last minute. Just being honest. I've been out there working cases, and you get a lot of people who come to you and say, I want to hire an attorney. Okay, well,
I have all my paperwork. So if I tell them on 3 days before the last day, they can look at everything I have, and I got proof of everything I'm saying.
All I'm saying is don't put your attorney at a disadvantage. If you want to hire an attorney, I'm fine with that, but don't come in here, and hire them the day before you're supposed to come back to court. Saying,
okay,
start now. Okay. All right.
Yes,
so you're free to go at this time.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Last 2 cases are Serrani and Harris.
Judge, could I just ask to be placed in a breakout room with Mr. Serrani?
Miss Serrani.
I'm sorry.
No problem. Miss Serrani, I'm going to put you in a breakout room. You'll be in breakout room number 1 with Mr. Lynch.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your patience.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
I do have an announcement to the court and also a request from the state. So for Miss Cerrone, we were not provided with anything. I just looked everywhere for it. That was one that we just got appointed, so that might have happened.
Well, the file was already marked with you all, so you all should have gotten, yeah, our file's already marked with you. And you said that you all were the attorney.
Yeah, but what you have to understand is that if she was arrested, we would have been appointed to her case in magistrate court. Then it's bound over to state court, but we have not been provided with the accusation, the police report, or a recommendation. And so because she wasn't listed as having us already represented her on the calendar, you guys did not send us the accusation prior to court, so we don't have it.
Okay, I'll confirm. Stand by.
Thank you. Also, she is going to enter a not guilty plea, but I need to make sure we get that paperwork because I have 10 days to file motions.
Okay, yeah, well, because we're not guilty, then I can just have, yeah, we need to hold up court for that if she's already gonna do a not guilty. And I'll just make sure that someone brings you the stuff.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
So we can make announcements to the judge then, if she's doing not guilty. Right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Your Honor, the defense has an announcement for page 1 whenever you're ready. Did you want to come by here and get the stuff before you leave, or?
That's totally fine. I think I need to get.
All right, there's an announcement, you said?
Judge, Miss
Cerrone?
Cerrone is going to enter a not guilty plea today.
Okay.
Absolutely. And I'm just going to have to get her paperwork from the state.
Okay.
But it will be a not guilty today. I do have her contact information.
All right, so Mr. Ronnie, just keep in touch with your attorneys. Please make sure that you have any questions, or if anything changes about your contact information, let them know first, and they'll direct you how to update the court, okay?
Okay, thank you so much, Your Honor.
All right, be safe.
Thank you.
Mr. Lynch, did you have an announcement on Harris?
No, Judge. I would ask to be placed in a breakout room with Mr. Harris.
All right. Mr. Harris, I'm going to put you in a breakout room. Thank you for your patience. You'll be in breakout room number 1 with the courtroom, and then we'll await the announcement. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I'll be back.
No. Judge, we do have a plea from Mr. Harris.
All right, did he come back?
I hope so.
Does it involve probation?
No, just a fine,
All right, I was saying that because I can close the breakout rooms and it'll force him
Well,
out.
there he is. I see him.
Okay. All right, Mr. Harris, raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
Yes.
All right, you can put your hand down, sir. You're before the court on State of Georgia versus Lamarvin Harris, case 20. Trying to sign, and I keep going back to. There we go. All right, so Mr. Lamarvin Allen Harris, 2021 CR 08517 for improper turn, improper signal. What is your client plead to the offense before the court?
nolo contendere, Judge.
All right, by entering a plea of nolo, Mr. Harris, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt.
I'm just going to
Give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. Then if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things, Mr. Harris?
Yes, ma'am.
Factual basis and recommendation, please, Ms. Hagler.
Yes, Your Honor. On or about March 28th of 2021, Officer Jackson was conducting a pre-approved road safety check at the intersection of Sullivan Road and West Point Avenue, Atlanta, Georgia, Clayton County. At that time, the defendant's vehicle did enter the road safety check, but then made a sudden lane change without signaling and appeared to be disobeying deputies telling him to stop his vehicle. Officer Doyle stepped out near Harris's vehicle. I'm sorry, Officer Jackson stepped out near Harris's vehicle and again advised him to stop his vehicle. At that time, the defendant did stop his vehicle, and he placed it in park as instructed. Your Honor, at this time, the state's offer for count 1 is a fine of $50.
I'm sorry, Judge. Yes, that was what we had agreed to, and we would ask the court to accept that.
Okay, I missed the last part because I was frozen. So what was the recommendation?
A fine of $50, 50.
All right, so Mr. Harris, I'm going to accept your plea. I'll set you to pay a fine in the amount of $50. That'll be $83.25 with the surcharges. And sir, did you need 30 days to pay, more than 30 days to pay? Because I get because you're not at the courthouse.
Well, I asked for 60, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine, sir. Just Mr. Lynch, do you have his email address to give to Miss Wright?
I don't believe I do unless he already typed it in the chat, which I'm.
All right, Mr. Harris, do you know how to use the chat function?
Oh,
Yeah, I'll put everything in there.
He did, but it went to me.
Okay, so if you could just forward that to Miss Wright.
Miss Wright, yes, absolutely.
All right, so Mr. Harris, you'll have 60 days in which to pay. You'll be able to come in to pay on the second floor of the Justice Center building at 9151 Terra Boulevard in Jonesboro, Clayton County, or you can pay online or by phone. Check your email for the email from the state court clerk's office, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, is there anything else we need to deal with before we adjourn?
Only thing I have, Judge, is I was going to just tell Ms. Hagler and her colleagues that I'm going to come down there to pick up some videos that we had discussed.
All right, still signing also, so if you sent me something, and you expect a signature, I've signed a lot of stuff, but I was trying to, not to divide my attention. But I'm gonna go upstairs and finish signing, okay?
Thank you, Judge. Have a good day.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.